Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's video. I'm going to have a look at the weather next 10 to 14 days. For today's video, day 10 is going to take us to the 30th of March. We'll be able to extend out beyond that instead of GFS and ECM ensembles, maybe for a couple of weeks. We're going to have a look at CFS V2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks, which gets us into the second half of April actually now. So I'll get on up for you in a moment. Just say we're going to have a live stream tonight at 8 PM, a little bit later than usual on a Sunday. I haven't live streamed for a really long time as well, so I probably won't be very good. I'll be a bit rusty, but it'll be sort of the last live stream probably until I have my operation to remove the stage 1 cancer that I've got in my mouth at the moment. So yeah, it'll be the final live stream I would have thought until after the operation, and then of course I might need further treatment as well. So it could be the final live stream for a little while, and we haven't done many live streams over the past few weeks either. So yeah, hopefully it'll be a nice hour or so. We'll all hang out with one another and we'll have a chat and see how we're all doing. And that's coming up at 8 PM this evening, so I shall see you there, of course. I'm going to say thank you so much to all of you for all of your incredibly kind and lovely messages that you've been leaving since the announcement on Friday that I have got stage 1 oral cancer. So yeah, you know, wherever you have left your messages, whether it's on YouTube or on Twitter, Facebook, you know, Discord, just thank you so much. Thank you so much to all of you for all of your incredibly kind messages. I am always amazed and astounded, really, how kind people are to me, and also to Mrs. P and to the family. So just thank you so much. Thank you so much to each and every one of you. It does mean a lot, and it does really spur you on, you know, to make you determined to fight. And as I said in the video that I've released on my personal channel, going over everything that's happened with me over the past few weeks, as I say in that, we're going to fight this together. We're going to beat cancer together, and you're going to give me the impetus to fight. And I'm ready anyway. I'm up for the fight anyway. So we're going to do it together. And yeah, just thank you so much. Thank you so much to each and every one of you. I've also got to say thank you so much to my good friend Neil Smith. Thank you so much, Neil, for the incredibly kind donation and lovely message that you sent through on through PayPal. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Neil, for that incredibly kind message. And also and the donation as well. Thank you so much. And I also just want to say thank you to all of you that have been sharing your stories. Cancer, you know, is such a such a widespread thing, but so many people are touched by it, and you've been sending in your messages of your experiences with cancer, you know, and how you've recovered from it, have been getting better from it. And those of you who have done that know who you are. So I just want to say again, thank you so much to all of you for sharing your experiences, and again giving me that impetus to face this head on and to fight it with everything I've got. And I thought that's what I'm going to be doing most definitely. So thank you so much to those of you who have shared your experiences, both you know, those that have recovered and those that are still going through the treatment process. And it's incredible, it's amazing. Thank you to each and every one of you for doing that. Right, okay, so that's all of the announcements out of the way. Let's crack on, shall we, with the video. So I'll see everybody at 8 PM, hopefully, for the live stream. Right, let's crack on then with the video. Going to start off having a look at temperatures at 10 HPA. So this is what's currently going on at 10 HPA in the stratosphere over the Arctic and North Pole against the long-term average. So black lines lifting up again. We've been talking about this in the videos when I've been able to do them. Oh, and just to say about the videos, until I go into hospital, just have to mention this, until I go into hospital, which won't be long, it'll be in a week or two, but until I go into hospital, I'm just going to do videos as I feel like it now, I think. So like the regular schedule, you know, I think we'll put that on back burner, and I'll just do a video or two if I feel like it on any particular day. But if a video doesn't get uploaded, you know, on a particular day, then don't be that surprised. Of course, when I go into hospital and afterwards, there will be a period where the channel becomes, you know, inactive probably, where there's not an upload while I am having my treatment and also recovering, while I have my operation and recovering. So, yeah, I just want to explain that. Right, back to business then. So the black line is, and I hope that's okay with everybody, the black line is lifting up. We're having another warming of stratosphere we've been talking about in the videos lately. We are now above minus 30, somewhere around minus 28 probably at this time of the year. In March, we should be close to around minus 50, so we're warmer than average once again. March is definitely turning into a warmer month, definitely, significantly so, for those stratospheric temperatures compared to what we had through most of the winter when we had a cold stratospheric temperature. And if we go a little bit lower down to 30 HPA, there we can see that significant warming is also taking place. In fact, probably more significant at 30 HPA than at 10 HPA. It's closer to the troposphere, so this might have, you know, there might be tropospheric impacts from this. So we've gone from here a few days ago under minus 70, around minus 72, up to like minus 37, something like that, minus 36. So a very significant warming of stratosphere at 30 HPA, and more so, actually, and interestingly, than the warming that we've got going on at 10 HPA, where the black line hasn't lifted up as much. I suppose it was lower, though, at 30 HPA, so I suppose there was more, you know, there was more ground to make up, which is why it was a little bit more dramatic. The warming is probably quite similar at both levels of stratosphere, really. But significant developments. This warming is going to be sustained and will be maintained. But core of the warming is over Siberia here, where I've got these orange and red colours. We can see how the yellow colours have infiltrated from Siberia into the Arctic and into the North Pole as well. Now we see that gradually weakening, that warming gradually weakens over the next few days. But it does continue to look warmer than average, you know, warmer than average temperatures continue right way to the end of March, basically. And rolling on into early April as well, that warming of the stratosphere through the opening days of April goes on. This is the polar vortex pretty much done now. I don't think there'll be any particular cooling of the stratosphere from now through to the beginning of the next winter season, which will be, you know, the first signs of the next polar vortex will be seen around August time, mid to late August. But I think for now, this warming is going to be maintained. Zonal winds are going to reverse as well. So this is from weatherviscool.com. The strength of zonal winds is like a depiction of the strength of the polar vortex, essentially. So zonal winds weaken like at the beginning of March and try to re-strengthen again. The polar vortex tried to get itself back in business. Now this next warming going on, zonal winds are dropping out very significantly. Haven't yet quite reversed, but GFS ensembles, green lines show that in the next day or two, probably tomorrow, we will get, or later today into tomorrow, we will get a reversal of zonal winds. So zonal winds go into reverse, and that will be the death knell for this year's polar vortex. So quite an early end to the polar vortex. Well, often the polar vortex doesn't end, you know, until later on in the spring last year, which is this red dash line. We see that the polar vortex didn't really go into reverse until like end of April into May. So yeah, you know, it's an early end to the polar vortex. It's quite a dramatic end to the polar vortex as well, and we shall see whether we get a tropospheric response to this. As we are seeing a significant warming at both 10 and 30 HPA, I think we might get a tropospheric response. Don't be overly surprised if we set up northern blocking, probably in April. So don't be that surprised if we find ourselves going into a colder and wetter pattern in April. I would not completely rule that out at all. Right, so that's brought you update with stratospheric developments. This is how the centering temperature is currently looking. The CT is currently standing at 7.4, which is 2.1 degrees above average, and that's provisional to yesterday, to the 19th of March. So another significantly milder, warmer than average month, definitely, this March will be. And we wait to see when we get our next cooler month. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. Looking at London today, so the red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for London. We're starting off, you know, quite cold at the moment, below average with the upper air temperature, but it's not particularly so on the surface, although we are having colder nights. We're going to see those upper air temperatures lifting up over the next few days, over the next week or so. It's going to become mild, very spring-like weather coming up in the next week. And then we get into the very end of March to the opening days of April, we get a lot of scatter. But there is a cooling trend that we see there, actually. There's a definite cooling trend that's going on with that. You see the white line, which is the ensemble mean, that goes from being above average in week 1 to being below average for a while anyway in week 2. And there are some really quite cold ensemble members going down to -5, -10 at 850 kPa. That might be in response to the stratospheric developments. It could be. Precipitation-wise, loads of dry weather coming up over the next week or so. Then starts getting more unsettled as we go into the end of March and into the beginning of April. So could we be going to set up a cold and wet pattern here through the first week or so of April? We'll have to wait and see. Temperature anomalies from the 17th to the 25th of March are coming out above average, mild average temperatures on the way. Precipitation anomalies from the 17th to 25th of March are going to be drier than average as well. The latest wind flow map from earthnolschool.net shows that we're going to be pulling in, or we are pulling in, like an east to southeasterly wind today, with origins of the air bow from southern Europe. So it's relatively mild with these winds coming in off the continent. Right, let's look at some chart data then. So this is how the UK Met Euro run is looking for midnight on Wednesday. High pressure to the east, low pressure to the west, and pulling up a gentle southerly or southeast wind. The high pressure strengthens over the country then through the second half of next week and just sits there right way into next weekend. So this is Mother's Day, of course, 27th of March, and we're under a large area of high pressure at that point. Icon looks like this. High pressure again to the east, lower pressure out to the west, bringing up like a southerly, southeasterly type wind. And the high pressure is strengthening over the top of the country as we go into next weekend, and then on to go with Icon, which gets us to midday on Sunday next week, a week today. We still have that high pressure knocking around the country, still bringing up those gentle southerly southeast winds, so an extended spell of dry spring weather that we see there. GFS midnight run, again, with high pressure dominating the weather midweek, and the high pressure becomes centrally located over top of the country into the second half week. That will keep plenty of dry, fine weather going as well. That carries on into the weekend. Then let's get into the extended range over. High pressure scoots northwards, goes up towards Greenland ice, and we start to pull down a colder northerly wind. So it begins to turn colder by month's end. Could bring winter showers into the northeast and north. With lower pressure out to the west, they might start to bring some outbreaks of rain in the west. So temperatures look really quite cold, actually, with -10 Celsius iceberg there through Scotland. And this low pressure, as it comes into that cold air, you know, it might deliver something a little bit wintry, believe it or not. That's the 31st of March, last day of the month, just beyond day 10, and quite a big area of low pressure then, so that will bring a lot of rain with it. It looks like quite a cold, wet pattern that we're setting up there. That low pressure moves away to the east on Friday, and we bring down this cold northerly wind once again. Then into more extended range again, low pressure coming in off the Atlantic. That will bring further spells of rain. It'll be very mild with that southwesterly in the south, but still quite chilly in the north. But definitely a more unsettled flavour to the weather there as we go through the first week of April. All extended range and therefore unreliable, of course. This is how the GFS 6Z is looking. Again, high pressure is going to be in the ascendancy through the rest of this week and into the weekend as well. It's not until we open up next week the high pressure begins to slip out to the west and some cooler to slightly colder air starts to come in from the north, particularly to more northern and eastern areas. Beyond that, we turn increasingly unsettled with low pressure, meaning spells of rain and quite chilly northwesterly winds as well. Maybe a high pressure beginning to rebuild again as we get to the very end of GFS 6Z. This area of high pressure starting to ridge back up from the southwest. Of course, that is a long way off. GM, once more, is looking mostly dry and quite warm over the next few days and into the weekend as well. All very anticyclonic. By day 10, just signs of high pressure begin to ease a little bit towards the west, and we might be starting to bring in something a bit cooler into the north. But really, even then, still in a dry spring-like type pattern. And then the ECM looks like this. So once more, we're going to have plenty of high pressure over the next few days. A little bit different with the ECM is that it starts to take high pressure further north by Monday 28th. High pressure begins to go north, start to pull in this sort of east-northeasterly. That could be a rather cooler wind, and that easterly then carries on as we get to day 10. So more of an easterly with the ECM as opposed to like the northerly that we see around day 10 with the GFS, particularly GFS midnight run. So a little bit different there with the ECM, but still looking anti-cyclonic, so still plenty of dry weather there. Just around days 8, 9, 10 we start to pull in something a bit cooler or colder from the east. Missing a precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from tometeo.com. So again, going to be a lot of dry weather. Of course, always high pressure. Not much to be seen in terms of precipitation, to be honest. So I think we'll get out of that pretty quickly and move on. Means there'll be options on the table with the ECM ensembles today for day 10, which will get us to the 30th of March from the Icelandic Met Office. 32 members of the ECM ensembles move a high pressure away to the west and to the northwest, drop a trough of low pressure in over Scandinavia and pull the wind into those colder northerly or northeasterlies or easterlies. That does include the control and the operation run. 19 have high pressure again, just to our west-northwest, not quite as far north with that, and bringing in wind from more of an sort of east-southeasterly direction. Perhaps that could be a rather dry and a relatively mild type solution. In 2 weeks' time, missing the option that we've got, gets us to the 4th of April. Looks very different to what we've had through, or what we're going to have through the next few days. This is for the 4th of April. 51 out of 51 members of the ECM ensembles, all of them have low pressure, well and truly in control, looking like an unsettled wet and possibly quite cool early April period there with the ECM ensembles. Finally, we just had a look at CFS V2 and then we're done. These are, if you enjoyed the video, by the way, can you smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much, everyone, for doing that. Right, CFS and then we're done. These are 500 millibar height anomalies broken down to week periods. The first weekly period takes us from the 20th to 26th of March. The coming week will be dominated by high pressure. It will bring plenty of dry and mild weather with it. Week 2 is going to be the 27th of March to the 2nd of April. The high pressure begins to pull out to our west, and we drop a trough of low pressure in to the north. A lot of dry weather with that, but could well be starting to turn cooler with winds more from a northwesterly direction. And then all change for week 3. This is going to be the 3rd to the 9th of April. Low pressure is in the Atlantic, but a deep trough over northern Europe. It just looks much more unsettled, that, doesn't it? It looks much more unsettled as we get through to the early part of April. And if anything, that carries on into week 4. This is the 10th to the 16th of April. Look at this, we start to set up, probably in response to stratospheric warming, we start to set up blocking in the high latitudes. And we have this deep trough over northern and western Europe. So not only a wet pattern, but also potentially a very cool pattern with that as well, with winds in from a northerly or possibly even northeasterly direction. There is a ridge that could be a saving grace around Spain. So there's a ridge there that will try and bring up milder air, or warmer air from the south. But overall, that does look pretty grim, I have to say, through the first half of April. Could be a cool wet pattern that we're seeing here setting up through the first half of April. But we shall have to wait and see. It's all if, buts and maybes, as it's weeks 3 and 4 and a really long way off. Okay, we're done then. If you enjoyed the video, please can you smash the like button, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for doing that. Drop a comment, let us know what about this and all of our videos. And don't forget to tell your friends to subscribe as well. Thank you so much, everyone. Right then, so that's it for today's video. I will be back later on, though, with a live stream. So I'm going to be live streaming at 8 PM, later than normal on a Sunday, and we'll have a little bit of fun this evening. We'll have a chat and see how we're all doing, and of course we'll do a little bit of weather as well. So it's going to be a nice hour or so that we're going to hang out with one another. And that'll be probably the last live stream until certainly I'll have the operation and recover from that, and so it'll be a little while before there's another live stream, but I wanted to get just one more in before my break. Right, you enjoy the rest of your sunny afternoon. I shall see you later, hopefully, for our live stream, but for this video, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.